Record-ology.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I hope you're as excited to watch this as I am to create it. Really been looking forward to this one. So, teenagers and kids, teenagers kind of are kids, but that's a separate discussion for a separate day. Teenagers are known to be inseparable from their music. It's part of their identity, part of who they are, and as such, teenagers are known to keep a portable music device close at hand. And this goes back decades. We're going to go back several decades, but this goes back far beyond even what we're covering today. And none of what we're talking about today is going to be a record player, because as soon as, from a technology standpoint, audio made a leap into different formats, it became more portable than a record ever could be. So let's start with the 2010s. What is this? This is an iPhone. So from 2007 onward, one could be seen with an iPhone or a similar smartphone, but this is obviously the most prevalent. Yes, I know technically Android phones outnumber iPhones, but this is what I have in front of me at this moment. Okay, so 2010s and now 2020s, kids, as it were, are inseparable from their portable music device. So in addition to being, you know, a portal to the internet, information, gaming device, portable music player, and so I've heard even an app to make phone calls. However, this is what people, kids especially, use to listen to music today, for the most part. Now, if you go back earlier, let's go back to the earlier 2000s, similar but not quite the same. We had iPods or MP3 players. This is a first generation iPod Touch. And an iPod was the same basic idea. Not quite as smart as a smartphone, but it was a portable music device. And as such, was very popular with the cool kids. And in the 90s, now we're getting in my wheelhouse, it was this, the portable CD player. Walking the halls of high school in the 90s, as I did, everybody had a CD player. Portable CD players were huge. We've talked about it before. They were huge. Kids had their music. It was part of their identity. It's part of what they wanted to do. So these were very, very popular with the jet set teenager in crowd and even the out crowd like me. But kids had these things. They were very popular. And then you go back another decade. Let's go back to the 80s. And what do they got? Walkmans or portable cassette players. Like my beautiful Sharp here. Yes, I know this is like 1991. But for the sake of this argument, for this demonstration, for this discussion, we're going to look at this as a 80s device. It's the same thing. Listen to their music. In this case, radio as well. I know some CD players did that, but cassette player, that's where the music, that was the new format, prevalent new format. I know CDs were out in the 80s, but most kids couldn't afford that, so they had their Walkman. So, going back yet another decade to the 1970s, what did they use? And that brings us to this. This is the beautiful, surprised I actually found one, and where you hear where I found it, it's going to drive you crazy. Panasonic 8-track player, officially known as the RQ830S, or Dynamite 8, or unofficially as the TNT 8-track portable from Panasonic / National / Matsushita. Was released in 1974, and by 1979 was pretty blasé. This is one of the coolest things that I've ever come across. Where did I find it? I found it at Goodwill. I did. I found this at Goodwill. A lot of people tell me, what kind of Goodwill do you have? We never find this stuff at Goodwill. And for that, I'm sorry, because our Goodwill does have this. It did. I mean, it doesn't. Sometimes it's a dud. Most of the time it's a dud, but today, not today, it was earlier this week, I found it. In fact, here's a picture of how I found it. Under the glass case. So you may be saying, how much did you pay for it? I paid $29, $30. Which when you buy something that's not $5, $10 or less, I would say, you kind of think it should be working for that price, right? If you're going to, spend more than $10 on something at Goodwill. So I had high hopes for this. These are worth hundreds, anywhere from 150 up. I've seen them go for $300-400. But let's take a closer look at this. This is a really, really unique and cool device. What I find striking, one of the things I find striking about this beautiful unit is how modern it looks, even today. I feel like if it wasn't for the 8-track aspect of it, if this was just a Bluetooth speaker, it would still sell today because it's sort of a timeless look. The TNT, the Dynamite stuff, obviously has to do with the fact that it looks like a detonator of a TNT, you know, with a plunger on top. Makes me think of Doc Brown in Back to the Future 3, although his sort of twisted.
We may have to blast.
But you get my point. This is one of 3 colors. You could get yours in detonator red, bomb blue, or explosion yellow. See the theme we're going for here. The yellow was my favorite color of the 3, although they're all cool. And if you can snag one of these, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Speaking of the Bluetooth thing, there was a YouTube video I found while researching this show. Somebody made an amazing, I'll put a link down in the description below, an amazing Bluetooth mod to this that utilized all of the controls, which we'll go through here in a minute, to amazing effect. However, I've heard that it's a very difficult mod to do. It's not as easy as it looks, as often is the case on YouTube. So anyway, yeah, these were, you know, every kid had one of these in the 70s.
The Panasonic take-and-tape that plays and records cassettes. And the Panasonic Dynamite 8 that plays 8-track cartridges. It's a blast. Their terrific colors play on batteries and electricity. But what makes the Panasonic take-and-tape and Dynamite 8 so right is that they both sound like dynamite!
Super, super popular, very portable. Obviously, you take it to the beach, you take it anywhere you want, take it to a friend's house. It was, you know, sort of a format battle with Panasonic in those days, as you could see in that commercial between the 8-track and the new cassette, compact cassette, which was gaining prevalence during that decade. However, a lot of kids still had their 8-tracks as they were still being made. It was still a current format, and this allowed them to take it anywhere. You could take it to the beach. In fact, we talk about that sort of jokingly with portable record players. But with this, it literally was done a lot. In fact, this one, when I'll show you, you know, the inner workings here in a minute, but when I opened it up to clean it, I noticed there was sand in there. This one literally was at the beach. So that's true portability there. It's self-contained, totally self-contained. By the way, about that commercial, I want to mention really quickly, that had Jimmie Walker in it. He was JJ on Good Times, a very popular show of the era, but no doubt he was brought in not only for the cool factor that he had during that decade, but also the fact that his catchphrase of dynamite tied in nicely with the Panasonic branding of this unit. So let's take a closer look and we'll look inside it. We'll give it a sound test, all that good stuff. So it's plastic. It is heavier than you would think. It has no batteries in it right now, but it is still significantly beefy. Except for the plastic exterior, this has a lot of heavy-duty metal components. That being said, the outside is plastic. I love this yellow color. Let's take a look right here. This is part of the reason why. So it's got a 9-volt DC input as well as an AC input. You could power it off of either of those if you didn't want to wear down batteries, but it was primarily designed as a battery-operated device. We'll look in there in a minute. On the back here, you can see the stamped badge on the back there. Underwriter listed made in Japan, Matsushita, as we've talked about before. This is the RQ830S, and a very, very cool device. I'm not sure if there are any adjustments here. I have not opened this in the sense of taking the clamshell off, and I don't intend to, because for my $29, I got a perfectly working unit, and I don't want to jinx that. Because you guys know how good I am at repairing things. Let's finish our tour here before we look in there. So this is obviously where the 8-track goes in there. It goes in not completely perpendicular, but at an angle because that's cool. Also, I guess it gives you a little bit of, since the tape it's tilted back a little bit. You can perhaps see the label a little easier. Up here, we've got the volume knob. A little warning there. Don't place it with a speaker facing down. You never know what you have to tell people. The plunger is probably the most striking design cue, although it is functional. It says push on there, and no, that is not a reference to Herbie Mann's Push Push, probably top 5 most disturbing album covers of all time. That's because you literally push this down. Why would you push it down? Also, if you push it, you can rotate it like that. Very nice hardware, by the way. Metal parts. This is plastic. If these get busted, I even saw there's somebody out there 3D printing replacement plungers, which is pretty cool. But this is all metal. The plastic is a good, dense, heavyweight plastic. But the reason why you would want to push this down is you'll see it changes these numbers. 8-track tapes have 4 programs on them. So you can see this goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Unlike some component level 8-track players, this does not advance from one program to the next automatically. You need to manually switch it, which moves the head to the next track. 8-track tapes, we've talked about them quite a bit. It's because of you guys that I even, started down this format rabbit hole, because I didn't have any attachment personally to 8-tracks. But it's a cool format. I mean, it's 1/4-inch tape, just like reel-to-reel. It runs at 3 3/4 inches per second. It uses the same real estate as a compact cassette because there's 8 tracks on there. Now, what you said 4 programs. What are you talking about? Why is there 8 tracks? Because there is 8 individual audio tracks. In other words, 4 stereo sets. So 8 tracks of mono, but it's not designed to work that way. So essentially, you've got 4 programs in stereo. 4 times 2 is 8, therefore 8 tracks. It actually uses the same amount of surface area of the tape that a compact cassette does, and that's 1/8-inch tape, although it runs at 1 7/8 inches per second. So 8 tracks can sound good. They have a bad reputation, but they can sound good. This unit has no headphone jack. It has no audio out. There was a car adapter kit, but that was about it. All right, let's look inside here. By the way, in that video that I'm going to link down below, somebody else did on modding this disc in here is actually a metal disc with 2 sets of 1, 2, 3, 4 on it, which I thought was kind of cool. The texture on this speaker grill is even amazing. I just think this looks modern. It just looks, to me, it looks modern. That lens in there, a plastic lens, is bubbled out. The font is cool looking, even on the numbers there. I think that's just, I love it all the way around. This gives the illusion that there's a nice big like 8-inch speaker in there, but there's not. Unfortunately, it's, it's about that big. So the sound quality is okay. That's where the tape goes in. We'll look at that in a second. But let's look in the battery compartment. There was some, I did some minor cleaning and sanitization when I got this. There's a serial number. It's in absolutely perfect condition except for some corrosion on the battery terminal springs, as you can see there. Uses UM2s, aka C batteries, which are pretty much in every portable of the day. Includes a convenient ribbon. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You put a tape in and it plays. Let's take a look inside here. Welcome to the inner workings of the 8-track player. You'll see the head's in great condition. Pinch roller looks fine. Everything's pretty dang clean. There was a little bit of sand sort of on the edges there that I used a Q-tip to get out. But by all intents and purposes, this unit is in fantastic condition. I was really glad to see that the bracket that surrounds the head is actually metal versus plastic as seen on other units. When you push the plunger, you'll see how it advances the head into different positions. And you see those 2 black lines there? Those are the actual heads on the head assembly, and they're not next to each other. That is because 8-track tape tracks are not grouped in neat pairs. They are overlapping. So there's kind of like a pair here and a pair there, kind of like that. So that's why it's done that way. So let's go ahead and test it out. Okay, so operating this thing is a little bit difficult, so pay attention. You have to insert the tape cartridge. That's it. Just joking. It's very simple to operate. Now, I'm sure the kids wouldn't be using this to listen to Arthur Fiedler, but it's going to be a little bit more conducive to us listening to a sample of music without any content ID matches, hopefully. Now, my friend Peter, aka Fardemark, has one of these, of course. In fact, he has the yellow one as well, which I would consider the most desirable color, just personally. And he paid $80 for his, and he had to replace the capacitors on it and do some maintenance. And this one, thankfully, required none of that out of the store, because it's working fine and really loud. I mean, like, it gets pretty loud. Now, it's a typical small speaker of the era. It doesn't have a lot of oomph to it. It sounds pretty harsh, but it's loud. And teenagers like loud stuff, right? So it does the trick. Now, so let's say we're ready to change programs. This is the fun part. All you gotta do is click that down, and we are on the second program. Now, you'll notice there was no audio there for a second. That is because if this was an automatically track switching 8-track player, they're designed, the tracks are laid out so they go from one to the next. So when you're manually jumping between tracks, sometimes you'll come across a blank space. But this is cool. This is really, really cool. I was super thankful to find this. And if you want one, they are available. There's quite a few on eBay, but you know, the prices are kind of up there. So it's, to find one at this price, I couldn't miss out on an opportunity like that. So that's about it. It's so simple. There's not much else to say. If you want to see, you know, the components of how it works and everything, do check out that link, because he does obviously take it apart to do the mod. But that's it. When you're done, you pull the tape out. I mean, that's all there is to say. So it's a cool unit. It's a simple unit. And we're definitely going to have it on the show in the future. I don't know what capacity, but this is a great, quick, and easy way to listen to 8 tracks very effectively. Now, you guys are awesome, and you deserve more than just one unboxing review in a show. So we are going to do 2 more in this very episode. So stay tuned. These are sleep headphones, which to you may sound like a strange thing, but if you've ever had them, you'll know they are a godsend. So the basic idea with a pair of sleep headphones is you wear them into bed. When you're laying down, you can wear them on your pillow and they don't hurt your ears like earbuds do. If you've ever tried to wear earbuds to bed and to listen to like ambient sounds or music or whatever, in my case I listen to movie audio, but if you ever try to wear regular headphones to bed, very uncomfortable. So this sort of genius cottage industry for these things called sleep headphones have come into being, and I'm glad they have, because for the last 3 or 4 years, I've used these almost every night. And I'm excited to try these out. These look really cool. So there are the specifications. Again, this isn't a time that you're going to spend and really like having audiophile listening experience, you know what I mean? They need to be a decent quality sound-wise, but these aren't going to need to be your best headphones. They just need to be comfortable. That's the biggest thing. And these ones are very unique because they are wireless, which is really unique. Most of these are not. I've never had a wireless pair of sleep headphones. So let's go ahead and take them out of the package and see what we got here. So the most important thing is the headband itself. It's a very soft material. It is stretchy. It's got elasticity both ways there. It is sort of the same inside and out. I can already tell you this is going to be very comfortable. The headphone itself is a little thicker than some of the other ones. You can sort of see it there. But yeah, the thickness on that is a little bit more so than others that I've had. Let's go ahead and slide it out. You can wash these headbands. It's pretty typical. You just need to make sure you remove the actual electronics, but they slide out pretty easily. But still, that's a pretty thin speaker. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in here. It also seems like these ones sort of have a pocket that holds them in a relative position, which is good. A lot of the other ones I've seen, the electronics can slide anywhere. And so sometimes they'll slide all around the place and you kind of have to get them sorted before you use them each night, which can be annoying. On the front there, we've got our controls. We've got plus and minus enjoying, which, you know, hopefully you're doing while you're listening to these. Really cool. So a charging cable right there. That is really, really cool. A little manual on how to operate it. But this is a great way to calm down and relax at night. There's the charging port, and obviously you can tuck that away when you're using it. So really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for a couple of nights and see how it is. As of the filming of this, it is Sunday. And in fact, I just got done filming the main Sunday episode. So what we're going to do is probably put this up on Wednesday. And I want to give it a couple of nights, see how it works, and kind of go from there. Look extra wonderful. Now I snore. I don't know if you guys snore, but I am a snorer, which my wife hates. And she says when I put on a sleep headband, I've been using sleep earphone headband things. This looks so awesome. I feel like I'm becoming memed very, very quickly. Anyway, my wife thinks I look like the Scream picture because I snore with my mouth open and I've got this thing on. So yeah, probably not the most flattering look. I was, in a way, pleasantly surprised, and in another way, a little disappointed with these. I thought it was going to be, first of all, they're Bluetooth, which I didn't realize at first that they were Bluetooth. Most of what I listen to at night to fall asleep with the ambient audio is on an SD card, an MP3 format that I use, a non-Bluetooth MP3 player that we reviewed in the past on this show. And so I couldn't use it with that. So right out of the gate, I was restricted to my phone, which we talked about earlier. You can access anything from your phone. So, you know, I had stuff to listen to, no problem whatsoever. But my favorite things to listen to, I actually couldn't do with this. So in a weird way, I was kind of hoping it had a cable. It wasn't as big of a convenience as you would think to have Bluetooth for this versus a cord. So that being said, that was really my only disappointment. The fabric is a higher quality, stretchy, breathable, comfortable. It's a little bit tighter than my other one, but I've got a fat head, so it was a little bit tighter. Having the controls up front like that on your forehead, you think that'd be a great place for it besides looking extra ridiculous. I kept finding myself bumping. The buttons are very sensitive, and I kept finding myself pushing those buttons by mistake and stopping and starting stuff. The thickness of the earphone itself was a little concerning when I unboxed it, but it turned out to be not a problem at all. They're very comfortable. Sound quality was great. I will definitely continue to use this in the future. So for this product, I would recommend it, and I'll put a link in the description below. And next up, we have these. Now, this company, Naenka, actually produced some really cool earbuds that we reviewed, and I really like them. But these, Vigor versus Languor. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right or if I know what that means. These are a different type of product. These are bone conducting headphones. So I'm excited to try that out. So let's go ahead and start by unwrapping this very reflective wrap on top. It does say comfortable wearing, titanium alloy frame, Bluetooth 5.0, and magnetic charging. That sounds pretty cool. Have to check that out. There they are again. You know, these are interesting headphones. I mean, this type, this genre of headphones. I've reviewed one pair in the past, and the idea is that they literally just, you know, touch the side of your head and vibrate your skull close enough to your ear that you can hear audio, and it does sound clear. And they're not known for being like the best quality audio, but they're very comparable. I mean, they don't sound muffled like you think it would. I mean, they sound pretty dang good. Very clear, crisp sound. And in a way, they're more comfortable than regular headphones because, like, if you're exercising or whatnot, they don't go in your ears. These don't go on your ears. They go above it and kind of to the front. And I'll show you in a minute. And you kind of wear it around the back of your head. This kind of goes over your, you know, I'll show you in a minute. You'll see what I mean. But the idea is that your ear canal is left wide open, so you can hear everything around you. You can participate in conversations, etc., as though you weren't wearing any headphones at all, but you can hear audio. Now, there is a lot of sound leak. Those are rubberized pads, very nice. There's the charging terminals. This is sort of a form-fitting, kind of rubberized, I don't know if that's titanium or titanium, whatever that is. But there is a place for it. Every once in a while I'll grab for them at the gym. The sound bleed is the one issue. They do have some sound bleed. They do give you these earplugs so you could plug out all other sound, although that'd be, if you're going to want to listen to the audio without getting the benefit of having your ear canals open, then I would just grab regular headphones, honestly. I'm curious about this magnetic charging, but they are a curious technology. Okay, so there's a magnetic terminal that I'm assuming just snaps on right there. Can't seem to find the sweet spot there, but okay, that's not the right way. It's pushing it away. What the heck? I guess that's it. It's not a. It doesn't really snap in tight. It just sort of grabs on there a bit. So I'd have to play around with that a little bit. And you're going to have. Let's take that charger off. One side of these is going to have transport controls or volume controls there. And yeah, I mean, that's all there is to it, really. It's going to be hard to demonstrate this for you. So I'm going to use it for a couple of days, give you a review. Let's start by kind of showing you how they go on. So put them over your ear like that, and then these pieces here kind of go in front of your ear, sort of that part of your head. And that's it. It's sort of a wraparound from the back. Gosh, I feel dumb doing this stuff. And then you can control it. Let's see, which side is it on? Over here. So the controls are over here, and that's it. Now, you may be thinking bone conducting. So can I put it on my elbow and hear it? No, it doesn't work that way. Or your head doesn't work. It literally has to be just sort of right in front of your ear. Now, if you push down on it, it sounds better. But if you don't push down on it, you can still hear. This particular pair, it's not the best. I've reviewed 2 pairs of bone conducting headphones, and these are definitely not the best. They sounded hollow to me, and I had a hard time getting them to sit well. They, you know, I had to bend them for overnight to kind of get them to push in the right way. They were kind of too loose, and if they don't have sort of pressure, a little bit of pressure based on the frame pushing, not uncomfortably, but if there's not a little bit of, you know, if it's not adhering, that sounds like it's sticky, but you know what I mean. It doesn't sound as good. It sounds hollow and distant and really not enjoyable. So yeah, I'm not as impressed with these as I wanted to be. By all aspects of the outward design, they look fine. The build quality feels okay. They got blue flashing lights and stuff, but it's, you know, when it comes right down to the experience, for me anyway, it wasn't there. So I'm not going to recommend these. These guys have done some great earbuds for us in the past. Naenka. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. So this particular pair of headphones, not the best. You guys have no idea how many times I've had to take this outro for one reason or another. This is like take 900. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't done so already, definitely hit subscribe, thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. Share this out, tell your friends, all that good stuff. But mostly, just thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. And that's going to do it for tonight. We'll see you next time.